I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
Anyone claiming that America's economy is in decline is peddling fiction.
I've abandoned free market principles to save the free market system.
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
Raising the debt ceilings does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy.
I know words. I have the best words. Nobody knows the system better than me, which is why I alone can fix it.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Peddling Fiction Podcast. Happy Friday. I am your host, the voice and soul of so-called fiction, Johnny Profita. And of course, back with me just once this week is Justin Hillbilly Boy Campbell. How you doing?
Good. Busy. It's been a busy week. Kids' school started back a couple weeks ago, and just a lot of stuff going on. And it's been nothing bad. Just everything seems to happen all at once.
Yeah, when it rains, it pours, huh?
Well, we had some of that too.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I might have some fucking water to mop up after this. We'll see. Fucking every time it rains. Sorry, my OCD is like flipping out right now. I don't like this setup. I got too much shit on this desk because I can't use my regular computer, so I got a fucking thing on top of it. I apologize. I'll get this fucking figured out. That's a little better. All right. Jesus Christ. I'm building a new computer, though. I'm kind of excited about that.
That's always fun.
Yeah, I found a site that does like buildable laptops. What is it called? Oh shit, I already forgot the name of it. I was talking a little bit about it on the happy hour last Friday. And so yeah, you can build it out yourself, like pick your own stuff, and then when they come out with a new chip or whatever, you just swap those pieces out. It's like fully customizable and buildable. So you don't have to keep fucking buying a new one every fucking 2 years or whatever.
Mine is like that to an extent. I didn't custom build it. I found one that I can do that with. And then Sean's that's sitting over there, it's fully custom. Like he got the shell and all the components and put the whole thing together himself. Like he did the whole thing, and it's really cool. And it's like that. It's like everything can just be swapped out, and you can change stuff out for whatever you want, add memory or whatever. So it's really neat. Yeah. And remember when that was like a big thing back in the early 2000s? What was it? Gateway was because they had like you would build it online and then they would ship it to you, and the packaging was like a cow print. You remember that?
That was definitely Gateway, was a cow print. I never built computers. I wasn't a fucking dork in high school. And I'm paying for it now. But yeah, that was definitely Gateway. I don't know if that's if they had like buildable computers or whatever.
I think that was like the first time that was really a thing, that you could customize your own computer. Because before that, I think you just like would go to a computer store and get whatever they had. Like they didn't have options and stuff. I feel like that was kind of the introduction of that kind of stuff. I don't remember it being a thing before that. My dad was pretty into computers when they first started to really become mainstream, and I don't remember anything before that, but we were
probably
kids.
Not.
So.
Yeah. And now, I mean, now everything's so fucking like, even I think I can put this thing together. You just kind of clip these pieces in, swap them out. I'll watch a YouTube video or something.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. If you show me what to do, I can do it. I've never understood people that can't follow like instructions or a recipe or, oh, I don't know how to cook. I was like, yeah, they tell you exactly what to do. Just fucking do it. Do what they say.
I've got a friend that he was talking about that. Like he literally learned how to cook just by watching YouTube videos of people cooking stuff. And like now he cooks all of his own meals. He hardly ever goes out to eat. He just goes and gets stuff and cooks all the time. It's like, yeah, it's not that hard. Anytime people are like, I don't know how to do this, I'm like, why not? In the information age, being ignorant should be like the highest crime. Like you can't say I don't know. That's all of the information is right there, literally right there at your fingertips. Like just go fucking get it.
Yeah, it's the amount of laziness and just like apathy or something is staggering. Yeah, people just don't care. And they're not curious. I mean, I know we talked about that in the past with the younger generations. They're just not curious about anything. Just take all this stuff for granted. I mean, I'm absolutely guilty of it too. I don't know how half this shit fucking actually works, but yeah, I'm a little too old to start learning.
It's funny you mentioned that of not knowing how stuff works. Mark Claire did an episode with Vin Armani a few years ago and when I was doing editing work for Lions of Liberty, and Vin talked about how, like, you know, nobody knows how a phone works or nobody knows how this stuff actually works or is made. He's like, you know, you take a nut and a bolt and screws and stuff like that. He's like, nobody knows how they're coming up with the thread count for that and blah, 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 blah. I was like, actually, I do. I took machine shop classes in high school, and after the episode, I told Mark, I was like, actually, this is how you figure out the thread count and everything, and like did the math for him. He's like, okay, you were like the one person that would actually know that. Like nobody. I was like, oh yeah, absolutely. Nobody else knows that, but it was just funny that was the example that he used. And it's like, oh, I knew.
Yeah, there's always somebody that knows it for sure. My old man got me a book. I remember when I was a kid, this big fucking book. It was called like The Way Things Worked, or The Way Things Work. And it would just, you know, it'd have like a combustion engine in there, and it would explain it to you in like pretty simple, digestible terms. For I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 10. I barely cracked it, as you can tell. But I remember the book, and like, yeah, I don't know if they do anything like that these days, where it's just like, yeah, this is how fucking cell phones work. I don't know how the internet works really. Like I know how to set up a fucking internet connection, but I don't know like actually what it's connecting to. And don't even try to explain it to me. My eyes will just glaze over.
Well,
but
talking about people not wanting to put in any of the work, that actually segues well into one of the little side topics that I wasn't sure we'd get to, but is an interesting conversation starter. Young men are abandoning the workforce. Why? Why don't young men want to work at all?
Where did all the guys in the office go?
American women now hold 176,000 more payroll jobs than American men. That's a far cry from 3 decades ago when men held nearly 7 million more jobs than women. What changed? The largely male-dominated industries of manufacturing and construction have lost employment for decades due to automation and offshoring. Meanwhile, the healthcare industry, which is 78% female, is thriving. The male unemployment rate is actually relatively low right now, but the number of men who aren't even looking for a job has reached a nearly 20-year high. Gen Z men grew up witnessing the effects of the Great Recession and corporate America's push to bring more women into male-dominated fields. That left many of them feeling pessimistic about their own employment prospects. So for the guys who aren't working or even looking for work, what are they up to? Many are living at home. Some are even embracing the trend of being a stay-at-home boyfriend with a breadwinning girlfriend. This is all while more and more of life is happening through a screen. Social media, video gaming, sports betting, further isolating men from real life. But we can fix this. We can encourage more men to enter education, healthcare, and administration, just as women were encouraged to pursue careers in STEM. We could also expand vocational training and apprenticeships for men who are skipping college. It's time to bring a generation of young men back in from the sidelines.
Yeah, we need men to be teachers and stuff like that. That's totally the solution.
What's frustrating about that to me is they just spent the last fucking 30 years creating policies and berating companies to hire more women. So now they've gotten that, and now it's like, oh, where'd all the fucking men go? Where do you think they went? You kicked them out of the fucking workforce.
Right. Ever since the civil rights movement, basically, they have been actively working to push men, and specifically white men, out of the workforce. And now here we are. They're reaping the consequences of those actions. And now they're like, oh, how do we get men back engaged and back to work? It's like, oh, you actually needed us. You did want us doing stuff. Because have you seen all there are videos and articles and stuff that are coming out almost weekly, if not more frequently than that, where it's like women talking about how basically they got what they wanted. They got equality in the workforce, and even in some cases they are now overrepresented in certain areas of the workforce, and they're starting to realize, oh fuck, we didn't actually want that. This isn't all it's cut out to be. Or all it's cracked up to be. Like, we didn't want to be girl bosses after all.
Yeah, I was actually just pulling up a tweet. I saw one of those tweets yesterday, and I responded to it because I tried sending it to. This is asking me for like some fucking code to send you messages now because I'm on a different fucking computer. So that's not happening. But why are women so angry? They won. They got everything they wanted. Men have never been doing this badly, and women have never been doing this well. They make more. They have the majority of jobs. They are the majority of college graduates. They make more money. They have much lower rates of suicide, addiction, alcoholism. They live longer. They won. They took over all men-only spaces. They took over the Boy Scouts. They ended men's bathrooms. They can fly fighter planes and be in combat. Marriage is optional. Divorce is no fault. They win 99% of custody battles. They can control fertility at will, and they can't get drafted. We are all living in the female future they promised. Oh, you got it right there. Yeah. And I said, women don't really know what they want, and clearly they were wrong. Well, that was my response to that. So maybe we should stop listening to them. And maybe we don't need more women in positions of power. Hasn't been working out for anybody.
Yeah, whenever they talk about, oh, trust women's judgment, it's like there's way too many single mothers out there for that to be like reliable.
Yeah. I will trust women's intuition in certain things, but not when it comes to managing anything or building anything or creating pretty much anything. They have good intuition, but not when it comes to running a society. I did see that there were reports. I have no idea if any of these reports are true or confirmed or whatever, but that one chick that was waving in all the Africans into Spain hasn't been heard from.
Imagine that.
Her. Yeah, shocking. Great instincts. Should we trust her intuition?
And this post that you replied to, she goes on. She says, we abolished or degraded beauty standards, body size standards, judgment, shame, unwed mothers, male-dominated workplace, the male gaze, Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, Playboy, men's magazines, cheerleaders, supermodels, heteronormativity, and monogamy. Any unwanted touch or glance is prosecutable as rape or assault. We even made it so inclusive that anyone could be a woman just by declaration. Like,
yeah,
you got everything.
And it's objectively worse and by pretty much every metric. Women aren't happy. They're angry. They're killing their fucking kids and supporting women killers. Men are leaving the workforce. They're more depressed than ever. Prices of everything have fucking gone through the roof. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Maybe it's too early to transition to this fucking chick already, but
I mean, it falls right in line with everything we've been talking about. Like the whole Lindsay Clancy case it's putting all of the feminist bullshit on full display. Like, you've got all the TikToks and the podcasts and stuff with all the like conspiracy theories about her husband and all of this, that, and the other. But like everything seems to point to she 100% absolutely strangled her kids to death, regardless of what a piece of shit the husband was. She fucking murdered her kids. And then you've got women just like lining up by the hundreds, if not thousands, to support her. It's like, what the fuck? is going on
yeah.
here, and they're calling for like, oh, we need more we need more attention to be paid to postpartum depression and mental illness and all of this other stuff. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily wrong, but at the same time, that doesn't excuse the fact that she murdered her 3 children.
Yeah, and this is, so I did figure out the code. I just sent you something totally unrelated. Yeah, dude, and this is like, this is the things that they can relate to somehow. They can relate to a mom that wants to kill her kids. Like, I get it. She was seeing a psychiatrist who, by the way, was a chick who was like just out of school, had no fucking experience whatsoever, that was prescribing. I think I'm remembering this correctly. Maybe she was seeing more than one psychiatrist. I don't know, but women should not be talking to other women. I like, that is the worst possible fucking thing. If you're going to go see a shrink, see a male shrink, and try not to fuck them, but like, don't see a chick either. 'Cause that's just 2 women just talking about things is going to be horrible for you. And this chick was like pumping her full of all kinds of drugs and everything. So I get it. Like, there's some negligence there. So maybe it's not like, like a murder 1 charge or something, even though some of the details do seem pretty premeditated. But it's like, you can actually sympathize with that. You're going to sympathize and empathize with killing your own kids with your bare hands, and then go out in public and be like, wear it as like a badge of honor or something. That is really fucking bizarre. Really. And for the people that were just listening or showing I don't even know what that was. Was that like a vigil well, I guess it's not really a vigil if she's still alive. What would you call that?
They are gathering in support of her. These are her supporters.
Yeah. In support of. And if, I remember there was like, initially there was a bunch of chicks that thought like, oh, the husband did it and she was just being framed. She's not even claiming that. She's not making that argument.
Yeah,
she's
all the stuff about the husband is entirely made up by like podcasts and TikToks. Here's some chick talking about.
I felt like the system failed her. She was begging for help, but no one was there. I don't know if SB and Hale will make her feel any better, but I mean, she's living in hell right now.
Just wanted to support Lindsay and just say it could be, one of my sister-in-laws. It could be one of my best friends. It could be me.
Yeah.
It's here to support.
Thanks.
Hearing her
She liked it.
that she tried everything, and I really do believe that she went into a state of psychosis.
So did she not get any help, or did she try everything? Which is it? She was, by all accounts, she was on half a dozen SSRIs and like,
yeah. So maybe don't take that shit first. Like, maybe we should try reversing that, because we've been experimenting with those for the last 30 years, right? Has anything gotten better, or is it objectively worse?
Remember like a year or 2 ago when the big study came out that showed all of these anti-anxiety, anti-depression medicines were actually making anxiety and depression objectively worse for the people that were taking it? It's like,
I don't even need a study to tell you that, but I don't remember that, but it makes sense to me. I mean, let's say you were experiencing some temporary anxiety, having like professionals constantly tell you, oh, you have anxiety, this is what's wrong with you. Like, that's going to give you more anxiety about being fucked up, and then dwelling on it day after day, and then taking these drugs that are doing God knows what to you. It's a terrible plan. And we've been doing it to people for 25 years at least. And the results have there been any positive results? We got kids shooting up fucking schools. What's the percentage of women that say they have a mental health problem now?
Oh, it's like 80% or something.
Yeah, 80%. Okay. This is good. Yeah, give them some more drugs. Trust the science. Idiots. Jesus Christ. So, yeah, and just, again, okay, so yeah, she was on a cocktail of drugs that fucked with her mentally. Okay, she still did this thing. Like, she still had some form of agency because she sent her husband off to go like run errands to get him out of the house. Apparently, she was Googling like the Google Maps or whatever to see how long it would take him to go pick up the food or whatever, go to the grocery store. She wasn't that fucking crazy. So again, dude, people need and getting women to take responsibility for things is also not a very easy thing to do. But yeah, have her take some fucking responsibility here. It's not only on the doctors. But if I remember correctly, somebody was reporting on this when the story first broke, before all these crazy women started coming out of the woodwork, that she was seeing a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist was like some fucking chick, like fresh out of one of these stupid schools with her degree, and had no business dealing with like a postpartum depressed woman. Had no experience doing it, and was just prescribing things, basically throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. I don't know. Great plan. But yeah, don't see a female psychiatrist. Horrible idea.
And that's,
more psychiatry roles.
Well, that's the thing is, like, you see all of this stuff of these women that are having all these problems, and they talk about it. They talk about it openly. Like, a lot of these chicks write for fucking Wall Street Journal and New York Times and other magazines and stuff like that, and they write this stuff and they explain how their therapist told them to do this and told them to do that. It's like, your therapist is just telling you to keep being insane. Like, your therapist isn't telling you to change anything. They are reinforcing the bad things that you already do that have put you in this position to begin with, and they're prescribing you a cocktail of antipsychotic medicines that, when combined, make you psychotic. It's like, yeah, no wonder you're in such bad shape.
Yeah. And I saw, it was Tommy Lauren or whatever posted something about how like the right needs to stop berating women for being crazy. It's like, yeah, it's fun to like make fun of them like we do a lot on Friday episodes. But like, okay, like, I'm all for trying to see the one thing that's great. One of the things I should say that is great about women is they are very malleable. So there is a white pill here. We were as a society, we were able to convince them to go against all of their biological instincts and become these like feminist retards. So it shouldn't be that hard to convince them to go the other way now. Like, it should be easier to get them to be like, no, you actually want to have a family and not murder your kids. And you don't want to get up and go to a fucking office and sit in a cubicle and become some like boss bitch. You don't want that. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard to get them to revert back to factory settings. But I don't exactly know how to, like, we got to stop pumping them full of these stupid drugs and get them off all this like feminist crap. And dude, all those women that we're just listening to, just picture in your eyes in your mind's eye what they look like, and you would be able to point them out to police, and they'd pick them up in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, for those who are not watching the video of this, you already know what every one of those chicks looks like. Like, we don't even have to describe it. You already know.
No,
you know. If we're not allowed to make fun of women for being crazy anymore, can we still make fun of them for being fat?
Very still. I'm working right now. Ouch! Oh, I'm sorry. Did my pen get in the way of your ass? Do me a favor and lose 5 pounds immediately, or get out of my building like now!
This is the new chair of the Black Panther Party, or Black Power Party. Yeah, Black Panther Power Party. I don't know. There's a lot of Black Power and Black Panthers all together. Anyway, this is their new chair talking about more retardation, why Carmelo Anthony should be let go.
The new Black Panther Party. And we're going to get their view on today's recusal of the judge.
Oh, Black Power, yeah. Well, it's about goddamn time. All power to the people. That's the first step. Now we need for Carmelo to be released. All of the racist acts that took place under Judge Rhodes, from them not letting people come into the courthouse when it's supposed to be a public hearing, from them not giving the jury instructions on self-defense. So Carmelo would have never got a murder case in the first place. He would have had the jury would have had the option of manslaughter from the racism.
The new Black Panther Party.
They are not sending their best.
Yeah. I don't know if that chick just looks like she's all tits. Is she even fat, or she just has the biggest fucking cans we've ever seen? Hard to tell. She doesn't have brains, that's for sure. Dude, we did get some updates in the Carmelo Anthony case, by the way. Did you hear about any of those?
I was just looking for her.
She doesn't have a neck.
There's no neck, so I put that as a fat qualifier.
Yeah. Yeah, I think her fat is just hiding behind gigantic tits. Well, dude, her just standing there makes me uncomfortable. Like, I couldn't imagine being in that kind of body.
I don't even know if she's standing. You can see a chair behind her. I don't know if she's like propped up against the chair. It's everything about this is just uncomfortable looking. But yeah, the judge has been recused in that case, which that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They recused him because he gave an interview, basically. Right. A judge can recuse himself, or a judicial panel will choose to recuse a judge for a variety of reasons. That doesn't mean there was any wrongdoing or anything like that. And also familiarity to a case and other stuff. Like they're just because the judge was recused doesn't mean that the judge did anything wrong. And from everything looking at this, that doesn't seem to be like the judge didn't do anything. The judge was recused. So
yeah. So my understanding of it is, yeah, he was recused. It wasn't his own of his own volition. They forced him out, but they're trying to get a new trial. And he gave an interview saying like, oh no, like I think the jury got it right and there were no issues. And so like, it doesn't really make sense to have a judge that thinks everything went perfect to be hearing arguments as to why they should have a redo on this one. And there's the prosecution and the defense had this like retarded handshake deal going into the case that they weren't going to bring up any character issues of either of Carmelo Anthony or what's the kid's name?
Austin Metcalf.
Yeah, Metcalf. So they weren't going to bring up any of their like social issues or any other character things that would make them look bad. And which is kind of a weird thing. Like, I don't think a lot of trials really go that way, where it's like, okay, you don't say anything bad about my client and I won't say anything bad about yours.
But then that kind of put it just on the facts of the information available. And that, like they talked about the racism, and it was supposed to be a public trial, and they only allowed people. Yes. Like they had, there were multiple reporters who were reporting on this trial as it happened. And they were like, doors don't open until X time. You can't be here until X time. Once you get here, if you're in line and you're like, close enough to the front of the line to get in, then you got in. And if you didn't, then you just didn't. And like, yes, it's a public trial. That doesn't mean literally everybody on the planet can stuff into a courtroom. Like at some point they have to say, okay,
especially
like
if they're shaped like her.
Yeah. At some point they have to be like, hey, this is like a fire code hazard. Like we can't allow, and also just space issues. So everybody's like, oh, it's supposed to be an open trial, but they were keeping people out. It's like, yeah, the fucking courtroom was full. And the black reporters who didn't have any reporter credentials anyway to be a part of the reporter pool that were let in. And then they're like, oh, we couldn't get in. It's like, yes, they set a time for when you can show up to get in. If you showed up late, you're not getting in, but being on time is white supremacist.
Yeah.
So that's why it was right.
That's why I'm always late. Not a white supremacist. Yeah. So so now they're trying to argue that because they had this deal that the defense was like hamstrung and they couldn't make a proper defense, and they want a redo of this trial essentially. And so the prosecutor is like, well, this is what I was holding back from the trial. And they pulled up some of his fucking text messages. So it turns out that Carmelo Anthony was his girlfriend just broke up with him like that morning. And he was like stalking her and threatening her with a knife. So that's why he had the knife on her or on him when he was at the track meet, because he was like basically texting her back and forth. I'm on the verge of like fucking flipping out. And if I want to stab somebody and lick the blood off the blade, like something to that effect. Like they have these text messages now. And so that wasn't introduced into evidence. You could imagine what that would do to that fat idiot's idea that, oh, the jury wasn't given instructions. This was manslaughter, wasn't premeditated. It's like, no. He's got text messages now on his phone indicates that this was absolutely premeditated. Like he was going out and he's like, I want to fucking stab somebody and I want to lick the blood off the blade. That's not verbatim, but that's like almost verbatim what he texted his girlfriend, who reported him to like the school superintendent or something that morning or that day, because she was afraid of him. She was afraid of what he might do to her. So yeah, once again, not looking good for Carmelo Anthony's innocence here. He needs to be let out. No, dude, I hope this judge, which somebody was saying on there's a Megyn Kelly podcast, I think, that this judge has a history of like tacking on additional time if he thinks you got off too easy. So like they got that original judge kicked off, but like this new judge is not like going to take, he's not some like liberal retard that's going to take a lot of shit. I don't think, from what I understand. So hopefully he tacks on a bunch of fucking more mandatory minimum time, because this kid could get out when he's like 30 or 35.
Yeah, especially if you're looking at like not just a crime of passion type of a thing, but more premeditated. Like he showed up with intent to do harm
to somebody, not specifically him, but like he was like, yeah, basically. And he almost said this to Metcalf. He's like, give me a reason and I'll fucking stab you. And apparently Metcalf gave him enough of a reason by asking him to leave the tent and maybe shoving him a little bit. That's all it took to get this upstanding citizen to stab a kid in the heart. And he also had a history. He was sent to some sort of correctional thing through the school, I guess, some program for kids that can't keep their hands to themselves. You can imagine what that's a euphemism for. And his parents, it sounds like they were hinting at some sort of abuse in the household. So he's probably physically abused. His parents are a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit. Lock him up and throw away the fucking key. I'm fine with it. We don't need to be giving pieces of shit like that extra chances, an extra go around. I'm sorry. You stab somebody in the fucking heart in cold blood for no reason whatsoever. I'm good. I'm good with you not getting a second chance, as long as we're sure that you did it, and we are. And yeah, we don't need to be releasing him or any of these other 10, 15, 25, 30 arrests, multiple felonies. We got plenty of fucking people. We do not need to be trying to rehabilitate people like that. And yeah, I get it. This kid was young. 17, old enough to know better, though. Old enough to fucking know better. And if you got a hairline trigger like that, I don't know if that can be fixed. I really don't. I don't think something like that can be, like, that's just kind of in you for whatever reason. Maybe it's because, years of his parents physically abusing him or something. Okay. I don't think there's a lot of correcting that. Like once it's hard, like once they rearrange your wiring like that, yeah, I don't know if there's anything like, I don't know if you ever really fully recover from it. So unfortunately, for him, doesn't look like he's got much of a future, but hopefully more of it's going to be in fucking prison. He should not be out before he at least needs to get past the age of like where all the, what is it, like 15 to 35 or 15 to 40 is like the vast majority of crimes committed by black men are, like, whatever that age range is. I want him to be like well past it. Is it 45 or 50 or something? Like, there's not a lot of 50-year-old black dudes going around and fucking committing a bunch of crimes. It's all young, under 40. So maybe after 40, we can reevaluate. But the fact that he could literally kill somebody in cold blood and only do like 15 years to me is insane. Absolutely insane. They've locked people up for non-violent crimes for longer than that. They're doing like fucking cocaine and shit. Weed probably at some, not these days, but back in my day, if you were moving enough weight or something, you could do fucking 10, 15 years. I think Virginia had like some sort of mandatory minimum, like 10 years for like any kind of, not weed, but like ecstasy and things like that. Like if you were caught with that, like it was just over for you. And that wasn't that long ago. That was 20 years ago. So,
talking about that's something that's just in you and not going to be rehabilitated out. Here's a study from the Bureau of Justice from 2021 that shows that 82% of violent offenders reoffend within 10 years of their initial incarceration.
Yeah, the recidivism rate is
insane.
Yeah, so it's a really small percentage of the population that like is causing all of these issues, and it's just like I don't know what we're trying to do here with these rehabilitation programs and like people that have been arrested dozens of times. Like, do we ever just draw the line? Like, where's the line? Where's the line where it's like, okay, we're done with this project, on to the next one? For me, it like maximum would be for me is like 3 maximum. I was a ball player, 3 strikes and you're out. I think I'm fine with that. I think that works in all aspects of life. If you haven't learned your lesson after fucking the first 2 times and you do it a 3rd time, like, you deserve whatever you get coming to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and yeah, and that includes like shit that you did when you were like 13. Okay. Did it 13? So you got 2 of your strikes before you were 18? You better be a fucking upstanding citizen for the next 80 years. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, and I mean, at that point, like, if you got 2 of your strikes before you even turned 18, what's the probability that this person is going to be a contributing member of society, realistically speaking? I
guess it depends on what the strikes are, but yeah, right. I see what you're saying. Because I mean, a bunch of my idiot friends got arrested several times. And some of them just had like really bad luck, like doing but they weren't like committing like actual crimes with victims. Like they'd be at a house party, underage drinking, like to me, that's not a strike. That's just like fucking being a teenager. But if you're fucking assaulting people and robbing stores, those are strikes. Those are absolutely strikes. And if you get 2 of those and then I catch you like doing something, relatively benign, I almost don't even care. You're doing hard time. Now, I don't even care if you're just taking a bag of Doritos because you wanted to feed your kids.
Speaking of crime of necessity, is that what we're?
Oh yes.
The California Democrats are inventing a new term to release criminals who commit a crime of necessity.
New bill that could give thieves a get out of jail free card. Now, it would create expanded diversion programs for offenses they consider crimes of necessity. But what exactly is a crime of necessity?
The amendments make it clear that this policy only applies to low-level theft crimes, no felonies, and codifies case law. And while we have diversion programs for drugs and mental health, we do not have the same for crimes of necessity led by poverty.
Joining us now, a man who's fighting back against this new bill, California State Assemblyman Carl DeMaio. Carl DeMaio, thank you for being here. What is a crime of necessity?
Well, basically, the Democrats say that if you're poor, that forces you to go out and rob a store. Now, let me be very clear. No one is robbing stores for food, bread, eggs, milk, or butter. They're stealing Nikes and PlayStations. Let's be very clear about what crimes and what criminals they're trying to protect with these diversion programs. More offensively, when this bill was brought up, the author of the bill and the Democrats said Donald Trump is responsible for the crime wave. Because of H.R. 1, the big, beautiful bill, people will be going hungry, which is not true. The big, beautiful bill is all about cracking down on fraud and protecting taxpayer money. People who need help will continue to get help. But they said Donald Trump's going to cause a crime wave. And so we need to make sure when people do commit crimes because of necessity, because they're poor, that they not be put in jail. Voters in California overwhelmingly rejected this coddle the criminal nonsense last year in Prop 36, and they said we want to punish criminals because we cannot have a crime wave impacting.
Yeah, crime of necessity. If you're poor, you can steal PlayStations and Nikes and just loot a Target, whatever you want to do. That there's not even a definition. I like. How do they define poor? Like,
yeah, or necessity, or
right.
Fair share for that matter. This is the fair share crowd. It was just taking his fair share. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know why these people get a microphone to spout these retarded ideas. Like, what's that? Isn't there like a Batman meme where he just like smacks the person as soon as they start talking because they're just saying stupid shit? And we need Batman. Like, we need that Batman to be like, no, that's retarded. Next. On to the next one. We're not going to let people steal and commit non-felony crime. And then, of course, they get to change the definition of felonies. They changed it, years ago. They're like, oh, yeah, anything under 1,000 is no longer a felony. Used to be felony fucking theft. Now it's not felony. Oh, they just needed $1,000 worth of shit from your store. It's not their fault. They're poor. They can't help it. I'm also just sick of all this reverence for poor people. Like they're so much better than everybody else just because they're poor for some reason. Like, I don't understand why. Like, we demonize successful people and we lionize fucking poor pieces of shit. That's a great way to run society. What's so good about being poor? What's so noble about it? Fact is, they're probably poor. Like, you can be broke temporarily. That happens to, almost everybody is broke at some point in their lives. You fall on hard times or something. But poor is like a state of mind, and it's an attitude, and it's a lifestyle. And if you're poor your entire fucking life, that's on you. And chances are you made some really bad decisions, and you just didn't want to do the things that require that you were required to do. Like the things that successful people do all the time. They don't want to do them either, but they do them because they have to do them. And a lot of poor people they never do the things that that they don't want to do. It's always just sitting around and fucking drinking beer and fucking, I don't know, loitering, whatever these fucking poor retards are doing besides working. None of them are fucking working.
Well, for the ones who are really, really in need of grocery stores, New York's going to be opening up their breadline grocery stores. Well, there's concern about this creating some unfair competition. So they've got solutions that they're going to give grants to local grocers who are
the
worried
Democratic
about
Socialists have it all figured out.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the goals of location is not just here in East Harlem, but any borough location is to be complementary to the neighborhood, and really, rising tides, right? We can all cooperate and work together in a meaningful way.
Do you mind? What is the? I've heard that term from EDC officials that these are meant to be complementary. What does that mean? What does that complementary mean in terms of policy, operations, and things like that?
Yeah, I think we're, as an agency looking at a number of different complementary, policies and programs, grants, incentives that can come alongside these grocery stores to support other, local independent businesses that are in the neighborhoods. We're going to continue to listen and we're going to continue to engage. And I'll be, alongside the operator as our partner. And like I said, making sure that we are complementary to the other businesses that are here in the neighborhood.
So other locations, other grocery stores can get grants from the city under this?
Something on the table. We're exploring a lot of different options and opportunities. I think there's a whole host of levers that the EDC is able to work within to make sure that everyone has equitable and equal access to.
Yeah,
we've
Isn't
heard
this
this
just
term
the perfect-
complementaries. We've heard this term complementary several times. What does that mean exactly? Oh, well, we're going to be complementary. It's like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not allowed to use the word that you're trying to define in the definition. It's not how this works. But I just love that this is like a great example of how government operates from like in totality. And people think that this is just unique to retarded democratic socialists. It's not. The government is creating a problem. They're opening up a fucking store where they're only going to charge 30% below market price for goods, which is going to drive other grocery stores out of business. So now there's a problem, right? First of all, there was a problem because things are so expensive because the government has been creating all this inflation. Okay. So how do we do that? Well, now we take over a grocery store and we artificially suppress the price of things and give it away for basically nothing. Well, that's going to drive these guys out of business. Well, how do we fix that? Oh, well, we give grants to those guys, 30% grants for them to make up for the loss. Could you imagine the utopia we'd be living in if we just did not have a goddamn government, or just the government that we had in 1776? That kind of government where it was just like barely even noticeable, no income tax, no nothing, no social welfare programs. They weren't taking over grocery stores. They weren't making education more affordable, housing more affordable, and healthcare more affordable. Do you imagine how affordable things would be if the government wasn't making them all so affordable? God damn it, man. They're at the root of every fucking problem. Literally every problem. And then they just create another problem trying to fix the first problem that they created.
Vicious cycle.
And yes, they're getting the same. They need to get the same treatment all these fucking felony criminals. Okay, we gave you 50 tries. We gave you 50 tries of making this more affordable. You're done. You're out of this one now. No more trying to make it more affordable. Like, okay, you said you were going to step in and you were going to eliminate poverty. You failed. Okay, so you can't do that anymore. Nothing related to that. Oh, you said you were going to, have stable prices. Yeah, prices have been going up by 3 to 9% a year for the last 55 years. That's not stable. Okay, that's not stability. So you failed at that. Okay, you're out of that industry as well. Let's just start knocking off things that they can do instead of giving them more choices and more options of ways to fuck it up more than they already have. Dude, that's just perfect. We're going to create a grocery store that's going to drive other grocery stores out of business. But we'll give them money too so that they can stay in business.
If we could
just not do the retarded grocery store thing in the first place.
If we could just spend more money, we could fix all of these problems. We can make everything more affordable if we could just spend more money on making everything more affordable.
I mean, dude, that's all they say over and over and over again. When are people like, imagine being like 70 years old. You've been listening to this for the better part of 65 years. I don't know when people started paying attention to politics, probably about 15, 16 or whatever. 65 years you've been listening to politicians being like, oh, just give us a little more money. We'll make it better. And nothing's gotten better, like ever. Nothing's gotten better. Everything is an unmitigated fucking disaster by any metric you could point to. And you're still buying into the system? You just got to vote in my new guy. vote Republican or vote Democrat. No, we just crossed over into 40 trillion, the national debt. And I do want to talk a little bit about what happened this week in the markets, bond markets in particular, because this is all related. But yeah, they've spent 40 trillion. They've promised hundreds of trillions to future generations, and they have nothing to show for it. Nothing. And if you were to go back to, when Lyndon Johnson was starting this great society, and you ask these guys, how much do you need? What's the price tag to create your utopia? You think it would be anywhere near $40 trillion? If I said, I'll give you 10 trillion.
Yeah, if you told them $40 trillion back then, they would think you had made up the number. That didn't sound like something that exists.
Yeah. But if you asked Lyndon Johnson what he needed to create his perfect society and all these like socialist retards, whatever number they gave you, and you quintupled it, we would have blown through that by the fucking 1985. Is easily by 2000. And now we're sitting at 40 trillion. The interest on the debt now, dude, if you annualize like the last month of interest payments, we're looking at $1.5, $1.6 trillion a year just on interest on the debt at these interest rates, which the Treasury just blinked and they're freaking out because they've lost control of the yield curve and they can't keep interest rates down. Interest rates are rising despite their tough talk about how they're going to cut rates and everything. So that's why the market was tanking on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Bond yields were going higher. So all these bondholders are not believing that the Federal Reserve and the Treasury are going to be able to raise rates. So they're going to demand higher rates for treasuries, which means everybody's selling treasuries. On top of that, you have Japan, who has been doing this inflation thing for the last 30 plus years. They're trying to save their currency, the yen, from falling. And the way they do that is by buying yen. The way they would be able to buy more yen is to sell their treasuries, which would put more downward pressure on treasury prices and upward pressure on interest rates. So we stepped in and we bought some yen to try to protect it. That was like 2 weeks ago. That lasted like 3 days, the effects of that. We sold a bunch of European bonds, I think, and we bought a bunch of yen. But eventually, Japan's probably going to dump their treasuries. Nobody wants to loan money to the fucking $40 trillion in debt government that's spending like there's no tomorrow on stupid shit for less than 5 point whatever percent for 30 years. Get the fuck out of here with that. And so Besson came out, was that on Wednesday? I think he came out and said they were gonna, we're gonna start buying. Basically, they're gonna swap long-term low interest rate debt that the government has. They're gonna sell that and they're gonna buy like adjustable rate, shorter term debt. What could go wrong there? But this is their desperate attempt. They said they were going to spend $4 billion doing it, which that held the markets up for about half the day. And then they came back and fucking tanked yesterday again. And he said, oh no, it'll be more than 4 billion. Don't worry. It'll be whatever it takes. We'll buy up all those treasuries that nobody wants. Except that they can't really, because the Treasury doesn't print money. That's the Federal Reserve's job. So the Federal Reserve is going to have to step in with ramping up QE and buy more treasuries to try to force down these rates. The first round of QE, if you guys remember, that was in like 2008 or 2009, something like that. And they were buying 40 billion a month of treasuries and 40 billion a month of mortgage-backed securities, if I remember correctly. It might have been 40 and 45, something like that, but 40 billion a month. And that was when we had a debt of like 10 trillion. Now we're at 40 trillion. And so when they finished that round of QE, they added like $4 trillion to the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. That's what it took to get us out of the Great Recession or whatever. So they spent $4 trillion to prop up those markets when we had a $10 trillion debt, try to keep rates from rising. Now we're at 40 trillion. How much do you think they're going to have to print and spend to try to keep this fucking house of cards going? Because when we had a $10 trillion debt, they had to basically spend 40%, an additional 40% to try to prop it up. Could you imagine, dude, if the Fed's balance sheet grows by 20 trillion over the next couple of years? Like, this is just getting into fucking ridiculous territory, and nobody's taking it seriously. None of these politicians are really talking about it. I don't even know if the debt ceiling, I can't even keep up with it. Is it a thing, or did they just suspend it for another couple of years?
I mean, at this point, we're just getting into made up numbers now. Like, it's getting so high. There's no way out of this. You don't fix this. So like, it's
you just inflate it away. I mean, that's the only, they're not going to default in the honest sense. They're not just going to be like, okay, we're not gonna pay these bondholders or those bondholders. That'd be nice if they did. But then, what's going to happen to the US dollar and the credit worthiness of the United States if they just start defaulting on all this debt internationally? Or if they even if they just told like all these institutions and rich people, it's like, oh yeah, I know I promised you 100 cents on the dollar, but you're going to get 50 cents on the dollar. Even that, dude, would not, like, the numbers are just too big. They're too fucking big. That would just be a temporary thing. And it would just be like when all these, when all these like in debt people, they end up getting like some sort of debt forgiveness, or they get like consolidated debt. They take like 4 credit cards and consolidate it onto one, and they get back to zero. And then they just run up that fucking credit card just like they did the previous 4. They haven't learned their lesson. They're not changing their behavior. They're just going to keep promising fucking free shit to people until the system breaks. Well, the system is fucking breaking. Gold finished up. Well, it's still trading right now because, it's only 435. So we got another 25 minutes of trading. It's up another $91 today. It's over 4,600. The chart looks, if you're bullish on gold, it looks fantastic. The best it's looked all year. I don't need to pull it up and bore everybody, but yeah, precious metals have been ripping. They're up $600 in the last, gold's up $600 in the last 2 weeks. $600 an ounce. It was at like $4,000 an ounce in the first week of August. So they've given their opinion on how they think this is going to go. The bond market is collapsing. It's not looking good. Not looking good. And, prices are just going to go higher. They're going to ramp this up. They're going to ramp up some form of QE, whether the Federal Reserve does it. I've heard some people talk about they might use certain like deregulation in the banking industry to allow, JP Morgan Chase and those banks to just buy unlimited amounts of government securities. So essentially they'll just have the banks will do the QE for them. But yeah, there's no way out of this. And we've been talking about this for years and years and years. They painted themselves into this corner a long time ago, and they've just been like adding more and more layers of paint, I guess, to stay with that analogy. The amount of actual cutting that would have to happen to government and Social Security and all of these Medicare, Medicaid, the military, all these things need to be drastically cut. There's no political will to do so. As a society, I don't think you know, all these fucking boomers don't want to give up their Social Security. All right, they call that the third rail of politics for a reason. That's completely insolvent. That's completely fucked. It's, dude, there's the only thing politicians can do now is promise more free shit for people. Oh yeah, well, it's like, and every time, you know, every week Mom Donnie comes out with like a new free thing. Oh, we're gonna give free bicycle helmets to everybody. Oh, we're gonna give free babysitting to every fucking couple of days he comes out with this new stupid fucking thing. We're gonna give it to you for free. It's not actually free. And people, like, the younger generations are eating that up because they're like, oh yes, give me some free shit. I'm tired of getting screwed here. And the older generations are like, oh no, you can't touch my free shit. I paid into that. So that's my money. Now what are we gonna do? Yeah, the same thing they've always been fucking doing until the thing completely breaks and inflation's completely out of control. And then maybe, I don't know, after a couple of years of 1,500% inflation, like Venezuela, Argentina, maybe we get a Javier Milei in there. Maybe. Well, it's an unmitigated disaster, dude. They have no fucking, they have no tools in their tool belt to handle this situation. The amount of monetary stimulus it's going to take to prop up a $40 trillion debt bubble is, I don't know. I can't even fathom it, dude. Like you said, the numbers are too big. Too fucking big. So, yeah, next couple of years going to be a rough one. Going to be a rough one. And like we've been worried about all the time, like all these years, it's like, yeah, it's going to get blamed on Donald Trump and the free market capitalist that he is, of course. And what's the opposite of that? Oh, it's AOC and Mom Donnie and all those guys. Bernie Sanders with their free health care. Speaking of, what was it a Bernie bro or something? That kid that you sent me?
What, the one that shit, I closed everything out because I have to go to work. You
gotta go. All right. Doesn't matter. We can end on that rant, I guess.
Yeah, there was one of those Act Blue or some the founder of some Democrat thing that absolutely looks like a fucking twink. And white dudes for Harris. The white dudes for Harris.
White dudes for Harris. That's what it was. Yeah, it wasn't the Bernie Bros. White dudes for Harris. Yeah, Act Blue is testifying behind closed doors in Congress and pleading the fifth, saying that when they're being questioned about if there was foreign money coming into their elections. We forgot to talk about the Fauci's right-hand man.
Yeah, he's going
pleaded
to jail.
Guilty. Yeah, I'm sure Fauci had nothing to do with it.
No, he acted entirely independent of Fauci.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you got to get out of here, so we can wrap on that. Tuesday sounds like we'll have a few things we didn't get to today, right?
Yeah.
A few follow-up items for Tuesday. We'll be back to do this all over again. I'll put out an update for the fire portfolio. Is not a good week for that portfolio today. Well, today being the end of not a very good week, I should say. It's all Besson's fault. All these bond vigilantes. We needed a couple more days of a rally. But I'll be putting out an update for that probably right after this. And then we'll be back on Tuesday. Until then, you guys know what to do. Just keep on peddling that so-called fiction. Peace.